So I had a follower message and ask about some, like, creating some content about why we feel guilty when we make boundaries, or just how it's hard to make them and stick to them, especially in the last year. They gave an example of not wanting to travel due to health concerns because of COVID and having to set that boundary with other family members who were, this is a struggle, it's fine, who were not concerned in the same way that they were. So I am going to make a post about it too, but I wanted to talk about it first and see what you guys' thoughts are in addition to mine. So yes, if guilt isn't the thing that comes up for you, so if it's not the feeling of guilt that comes up for you, it might be any other strong emotion like sadness or fear or anger even. There's lots of different things that might come up when you set a boundary, and I think there's so many different reasons for that vary from person to person, but a few common ones that I hear a lot and some that I've experienced as well are that you're doing something new that you're not good at yet. So if you didn't grow up with a good model for boundaries, or you're just a very non-confrontational, gentle person by nature, it's going to be hard for you to set a boundary. And the first 100 times that you do it, it's probably going to feel difficult and bring something up in you. Reason number 2 that setting a boundary might bring up some emotions or feelings in you. You care about the relationship with the other person that you're trying to set this boundary with. So again, I think that the motivation behind maintaining relationships is different for everybody, but by setting a boundary, you are potentially risking that person feeling a type of way about you or seeing you differently, or maybe the relationship changes from there. So if you have things coming up inside of you when you're trying to set a boundary with somebody, it's probably an indicator that you care about that person and your relationship with them. Reason number 3 is you might be having some grief coming up about missing out on whatever boundary you're setting, whether that's an activity or a relationship with a person or anything else. So for example, say that there is an extra project at work that you think is really cool and you want to be a part of it, but you're already doing 4 other projects with people and feel like you don't have enough hours in the day and days in the week to get those things done already. So you have to take a step back and maintain your own safety and sanity by saying no to that, but maybe you have some feelings about that because you think that project's really cool and you want to do it. That's extremely normal. And lastly, but certainly this is not an exhaustive list by any means, you might have guilt or anything else coming up around setting boundaries because you never had anybody in your life show you how to set good boundaries, or the reasons why you should set boundaries, or why it's an inherently kind thing to do to keep yourself and others safe and to teach them how to treat you. So if you've never had anybody model that for you, then you might not even know how to feel about it. It just feels difficult or weird or icky or risky or any of those things because you don't know what you don't know and you're learning as you go. So short story long, Instagram story, see what I did there? Be gentle with yourself. Those are just 4 reasons that I hear often from people about why it's difficult to set boundaries and why you might feel guilty for doing it. But I made a post a while back about nobody's a day one expert. So if this is something that's hard for you, that's okay. And the more that you do it and the more that you value yourself and your ability to be present in every aspect of your life by setting boundaries. Okay, last thing, because I am by no means an expert on boundaries at all. So I wanted to point you to some resources. Anything and everything Brene Brown. If you just Google Brene Brown boundaries, a little tongue twister for you there. She's wonderful, will tell you exactly like it is and ways to get better at it. I've also heard that the book Boundaries by Henry Cloud is helpful. It is written from a Christian perspective, I believe, so just something to note on that. And then lastly, there's a short video on YouTube that I use in my adolescent anxiety group that's called How to Set Boundaries in 6 Easy Steps. The channel is called How to ADHD. So it's meant for an audience that struggles with ADHD. However, she's very precise and succinct and offers 6 really great tips of how to go about actually setting boundaries if it's difficult for you. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to DM me. I'm always looking for more ways to get this information out to people because they are so important. All right, bye guys.